I got interested in trying to generate 3D terrain models for various reasons, but primarily to print them. And this is a file, an STL file I've generated with my own code using the srtm data that I've downloaded from the NASA website. It's the 1 arc-second data, so it's fairly fine resolution, and that's primarily the reason I wanted to try it and see how it worked. However, having got this and looked at it, I found two problems with it. It's sort of, everything's slightly smoothed out, which may be a deliberate way they've processed the data. But for example, at this point just in here along the side of the hill, there's a cliff. Not all the height of the hill, but a short cliff, and you'd never really see that from here. And the second problem is that everything's just a little bit meh. There's actually a river estuary coming along here. This is the getting near to the mouth of the River Tay in Scotland. The river estuary comes up here, goes round here, splits in two round an island and carries on up into the Highlands. There's a big hole in the river here. That's interesting. I don't think anybody's ever noticed that before. So having had a look at that, but not very impressed with it, I then thought, what else have I got potentially? And here is the same thing rendered from the aster data. It sort of looks similar, but is clearly quite a bit noisier. The resolution is pretty much the same. I think it's slightly coarser, but it's not much in it. But you can see we still haven't got a cliff face here, and the river is, well, just a scrambled mess of noise, really. There is a lot of noise in this data and quite a few little sort of glitchy artifacts all around the place. So this isn't too impressive either. I then decided I'd resort back to the good old Ordnance survey data. It's not quite as high resolution as the other data sets, but I wondered how it would look when I processed it. So here is the same thing again from the OS data. This is the terrain 50 height data, so it's a height plot on a 50 metre square grid. It comes plotted to Ordnance Survey's own projection, so you don't have to do any conversion on it. So it's not quite exactly the same space as the others because of that conversion, but it is clearly the same thing. And we now have a cliff face that looks pretty much like a cliff face in there. Okay, so here's the same scene as rendered in Google Earth from around about the same place that we were looking before. There's the river coming up, there's the island, so there's one branch of the river, there's another branch here. And here's what's supposed to be a cliff face. So top of the hill, that's actually all that we see of the cliff, and it doesn't really look very cliffy. So we'll go and have a look and see if we can get a nice image on street view level just to see if there's anything better there. Ah yes, here we are. Here's a view from a little road that goes over the main road going on the east side of Perth. There's the bridge over the River Tay, so the Tay's underneath here. Here's our little bit of hillside and cliff. So let's just zoom in a wee bit. Looks pretty cliffy to me. Yes, this is a good view of it, albeit somewhat compromised in resolution terms.